I'm Queen ShanShan, and this is a broadcast podcast. Broads, hey girl, hey. Welcome to a new episode of A Broadcast Podcast. The new season, new tea. We have listeners in Pakistan and Indonesia. So, assalamualaikum and terima kasih. Today's show, we are stirring the pot. Edward is out on set for a movie, so his wonderful partner Danny is at the producer table. Hi, Danny.
Hi.
Thank you for stepping up to the challenge and dealing with me. Are you ready for this?
Let's get started.
Are you ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. Thank you for being here. Welcome back, Rick Klinger. Woo!
Like an STD, he's back.
Oh my god.
He's back.
The bitch is back, you guys. By unpopular demand.
The letters came in. Don't bring him back. But you bitches, I'm back. Okay?
He's back. Reference, actually, episode 9. Rick Klinger was on this show, episode 9, and it was called If You Woo Woo Woo. And wasn't that a great show?
That was actually, people talked about, our conversations after talking about music.
Right?
The whole controversy, which turned later on, got even more controversial.
Yep. So I appreciate your feedback and your opinion on that show because people really related to the show.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Rick. And we have Haley Gauthier.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Well, and we say Gautier, but
Gautier.
it sounds much better when you say it like
Okay, Gauthier.
much fancier.
She is a model, actress, and social influencer, and we will get into that in a minute. The music festival season is now up, you guys. Coachella, Woodstock, Lollapalooza, Kaboo. What's it all about? Did I say some foreign names to you? You know what? They're foreign to me, too. We'll talk about it. What artists we should keep an eye on this summer and at the music festivals, the whole shebang. Social influencers, how they influence brands and products even more than before. What does it take to be a social influencer? The pros and cons of it. Travel. People will be traveling to these music festivals and spending thousands and thousands of dollars. We're going to talk about, Rick, you're all about it.
Yep.
How to pack, what to expect, the transportation, and the new segment we're introducing this season, Just the Facts, Ma'am, with the tragic death of Nispey Hussle. Latal Arbib, medical esthetician, specializes in facials, lash extensions, body waxing, eyebrows, and all sorts of great things for your face and your body. Latal is offering $25 off for new clients who listen to this podcast. Just mention you heard it on A Broad Podcast, and you will get $25 off your first facial, waxing, eyebrow shaping, or lash fill treatment. Tell her Queen ShanShan sent ya. Hunty! All right, you guys, since we're talking about music festivals today and Coachella and all the other great things, I love music festivals, but I also love going to, wine tastings and wine and food festivals. But I wanted to say my food topic, because we always talk about food, is what do we do when we go to these music festivals? What do you like to eat? Me, I want to stay literally good because I want to eat vegan when I go. I love to find a really cute vegan stop shop or a kiosk and have something healthy like corn or vegetables. So, and also, let's be honest, you get the shits when you start drinking and eating crap at these places, right? So I want to eat healthy, something easily digestible with a white wine or a spritzer. Speaking of vegan food, actually, there is a huge vegan food festival happening in a couple months, June 22nd, at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. You can find more information at eatdrinkvegan.com. Are you listening? Take a listen to them or take a look at their website, and I think it's going to be a great time. So, Haley, I'm going to go to you. What's your go-to food for the festivals?
Yeah, so, before that, we went to the vegan festival at the Rose Bowl last year. It is incredible.
Is it really?
Incredible. Because I was really strictly vegan last year when we were there. I'm still pretty strict about it, but there were foods that I hadn't found a good substitute for. Like, I love pizza and, like, nachos and cheese fries and things like that. And I hadn't found a good substitute for that at all. But there were so many options at that festival at the Rose Bowl. Like, we were probably there for 6 hours, and I have never eaten so much in a day. Good. But then I, like, wasn't sick. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's like very hard to overeat.
Absolutely.
When it's like clean like that.
It's clean.
So anyway, that was delicious. At festivals, I mean, I typically go for like fruit or something that's really light, because when I am drinking, I don't really want to have anything cheese heavy, because they always have the option of like pizza or fries or whatever, things that are fried, and I'm already going to be feeling sick. And also when I go to festivals, I'm usually not wearing full coverage clothing, so I don't want to be getting bloated or things like that, because like Coachella, you're in like a bra and underwear with like some sparkles, essentially. You know what I mean? So like you really
weekend one.
Yeah, exactly, weekend one. Right. So you don't really want to be eating like pizza or hamburgers or whatever. But last year there was a new stand at Coachella, and it was like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like gourmet ones.
Yum.
That's what I ate a lot of.
Yeah.
Because they were so good. But typically fruit, pretzels, if you've been drinking like the big like mall style pretzels. Yeah. That's like the sauce right there.
What about you, Rick?
Well, I think it matters on the festival. One thing I would say about Coachella and like Lollapalooza, you have so many great restaurants. So when you do have time, because you're there all day, when you do have to sit down for dinner, go to one of the really great restaurants and spread, because that's what they're known for now, is pulling in the big chefs, and they're having like the food from the big chefs in LA or in Chicago in that case. But if you're at a Bonaroo, you're probably gonna spread your the food around a little bit onto, you could have country food, you can have
soul food.
Different soul food there, because it's such a far-reaching festival.
What's your go-to though?
My go-to probably would be something Asian, believe it or not. So like egg rolls or something like that, some of the big restaurants. I haven't had a chance, I'm so behind, to sit down and see what we're going to be eating at Coachella this year around. But usually I pick one restaurant I want to run to and go to and stuff like that. Cool. So yeah, do your research, because there's a lot of good.
Like I have never even thought about the restaurants at Coachella, like, but I'm also the kind of person whenever I get hungry, I like want to eat, but I feel like I'm running around so much, I'm never like, because I'm a look at the menu ahead of time kind of girl. Like if I'm going out to eat, I already know what I'm ordering before I get there. But I've never even thought about that.
Look at the menu.
I will this year for
sure. The thing that you can actually sit down, and we do have some difference between VIP and regular.
Well, I'll be in VIP.
Yeah, so they actually have sit down. So they have the restaurant there that you can sit down and eat in that too. And yeah, do the research, because like for years, Lollapalooza, I would get the lobster egg rolls.
Yum.
And they were wonderful, and they like everybody waits for them and stuff like that. Now they don't have too much of a VIP section for food as Coachella does, but the food across the board is wonderful. Cool. So even if you're not VIP, eat.
So basically the advice to people going to music festivals this week or this summer: do your research, find out what the food's going to be there, the chefs, the restaurants, and get prepared for an amazing time.
And avoid dairy if you're in the sun all day.
Yeah.
Like, those porta potties are not the greatest.
Well,
not a cute look.
Especially if you're intolerant.
He's like,
you're intolerant like me, then you're
intolerant. Don't go.
Yeah, I think do the research, and also remember that it's not a county fair. It really is not anymore.
That's right.
You're paying top dollar to go to these, no matter if you're doing
And we'll
VIP
talk
or
about
not.
that in a minute, about these top dollars. Thanks, guys. Chicken orzo soup, burrata caprese, meatball ricotta toast, calamaretti? No, these aren't wigs I'm talking about. These are brand new dishes at Ma's Italian Kitchen, located at 267 North Pass Avenue in Burbank, California. The phone number is at Ma's Italian Kitchen is 818-567-2288. They provide private dining, and they also cater private parties. Michelle created an amazing menu, and I want you to tell them Queen ShanShan sent ya. Hunty! Welcome, broads. Hey, girl, hey. It's your girl, Queen ShanShan, and we are welcoming back Rick Klinger, actually. Rick Klinger is back, you guys. And Haley. Now, again, if you guys don't remember Rick, because he can be a little bit unforgettable, Rick was actually on episode 9, and it was called If You Woo Woo Woo, and we were talking about the Grammys that day. We were talking about the Oscar nominations, the Jussie Smollett case, all types of things that revolved around music and entertainment. Did you love that show?
I love that show.
It was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably only listened to it 215 times.
Well, thanks for bringing up the stats.
But I'll probably
Every
get a
listener
216.
Every listening counts, honey.
Yeah,
We need as
exactly.
many as possible. And now we have intro to Haley.
Hello.
Hi, Haley.
Hi.
Haley Gauthier.
Yes.
Right? You were born and raised in Texas, and you made your way out here to Los Angeles, graduating college 2 years ago. And I met you because you are Edward's, I should say, goddaughter, right?
Yes.
So there's the relation there. And again, people who are looking for Edward's not here because he's on set working upstate on a TV job or movie job. TV. So hi, Edward, we miss you. Thanks for lending us your amazing boyfriend, Danny. Anyways, she is now a model. You're an actress. You are a social influencer. You got gigs full time. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very
That's
much.
amazing. You also are happily married to Chase.
Chaz.
Chaz.
I am. I know it's crazy because I was married at 24, had just turned 24, got engaged at 22. But yeah, it's great.
That's awesome.
We feel like adults. You know what I mean?
Congratulations.
Like we feel like kids, but adults at the same time.
Good for you. Good for you.
you.
And you've been doing this just for 2 years, correct?
Yeah, right at 2.5.
That's amazing.
Thank
In your
you.
2-year career, you have worked with brands, big brands such as Juicy Couture, Lifetime Movie Network, I always pronounce this company wrong, Aeropostale?
Aeropostale, yeah.
I did it. Aeropostale, Disney, what? Yes to skincare. I use their facial masks, girl.
They're amazing.
They're amazing. Hashtag yes to skincare. We need sponsors. NYX Cosmetics, which I use their eyeliners, I use their eyeshadows. Wrangler jeans. Oh my goodness, and many more. You have a first feature film coming up.
I do. It's very exciting.
Can you say anything about that?
Not really.
Okay. Well, when is it coming out? Possibly.
It's supposed to be coming out. Well, they said late 2019, but who knows?
Who knows?
It could be early 2020.
Well, you better keep us abreast.
I will.
Abreast.
Yeah, she's got to bring it on.
Absolutely.
Talk about
And
it.
you know what? We'll get you back on. Maybe. We'll see how you do.
Totally.
We'll see how you do today.
Right. We'll see if I get cut.
Let's not jump the gun. You lead, I see here, it was interesting, I read, you lead to more drama, but you would like to do more comedy.
Yeah, I just feel like I have a lot of friends that are naturally really, really into comedy, and that's super, super great. But I guess because my personality is so lighthearted and I'm like a naturally bubbly and optimistic person, that the actor in me like leans towards the opposite. Like I really enjoy, because I've had a very privileged life. I haven't gone through any trauma. Like the only death in my entire life was my dog that recently died. Like I've never lost a grandparent or anything like that.
Yes.
So there's a lot of like life experience that I don't have, so I have to find that in these characters that are
Interesting.
darker, you know.
Wow.
But I think like I really like the idea of comedy because I feel like naturally that's kind of where my personality fits, but I haven't quite got into that market yet, but
Okay.
we'll see. Stay tuned.
But on the modeling, you said that as far for now, that you want to still do that, but that's not what you want to see. That's what you want to do forever.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
God, no. I like the industry a lot better now that there's much more inclusion and you can be all different shapes and sizes to be a model. That is very, very nice because I felt really guilty for a long time being on set with a bunch of skinny white girls all the time, knowing that this is not the norm in the
But
world.
you are a skinny white girl.
I am. Oh, totally. No. I mean, like,
So am I.
I felt.
So am
You
I.
so are. I just felt weird about the fact that I was born in this body, and because I was born this way, I got a privilege that other people didn't get, which I know I still live with all the time being a white girl, but like, I didn't like that my job was only really accessible to me, but it's not that way anymore, which is amazing. Like I've been on set a lot recently where I was the only white person on the entire set, and I was like, well, thank God, you know, like this looks way more like the real world. But yeah, I mean, modeling's just one of those things. I'm super grateful for it and blessed that it's my job and you can make good money and travel and meet great people, but it's not my passion by any stretch.
So, well, let's get into it. You know, that was going to be my next question. Can you tell aspiring actors and actresses what were the steps to get you from Texas to Los Angeles?
Yeah. So first of all, let me say I don't think that there is an actual method
to formula.
Yeah, there's no formula at all. I think for me personally, like I have it written in my first grade journal that I want to be an actor when I grow up. Like I don't have a memory that predates wanting to be out here. And I always had Edward, always had him in my life being like, you have the it factor, you have to move, like the whole thing, because him and my mom were best friends and their agreement was Devin was going to be a director and he was going to put my mom in his movies. Like that was their thing. So I'm just kind of like a second generation of that, like that want or that desire. But I always wanted to do it. It's like I never had another option. I had to go to college because that's what my parents told me I had to do, which I'm really grateful for that.
What was your degree in?
In business marketing.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So my plan was always to go to college and move to Los Angeles. I just got very, very lucky, and that while I was in Texas, I found a guy who was like, hell yeah, like totally, like let's do it. I'll move with you for sure. Like quit his job, had no money, like just moved out here. He's the best. Like
That's a good man.
His whole want to move out here was so, like his idea was, I can get a job so Haley can try to do what she wants to do without worrying about money. Like that was what he told me. And so he's great. Anyway, P.S. Get married if you meet a guy like that. But yeah, I just got out here. I went on a ton of go-sees with modeling agents because I knew it would be easier to get in like that than go to like an acting agent with no credit and no reel or anything like that. So I knew I needed to make money, and I knew I couldn't have a regular 9-to-5 job like everybody else that had just graduated college.
That's true.
And I did modeling as a child, which really set this whole thing up because I don't have the personality that I would look at myself as an adult and be like, you should model. Like, I feel like that takes a very special person to like look at yourself and be like, yes, I should be. Like, no, that's not my personality. But because I had done it, I felt more comfortable with it. So I moved out here. I got scouted by an agency at Whole Foods. I was with them for...
What?
Yeah.
You were shopping at Whole Foods?
Shopping at Whole Foods. So I was with that agency for about a year, but I was also doing freelance work.
Okay.
And through that agency, I booked one job all year.
Okay.
And I was like, this is not quite it. So I met with Osbrink Talent because I was like, I definitely need a commercial agent. I've done commercials before. So I went and met with them, and they were like, oh, we also have a friend who runs, it used to be Osbrink Models, now it's O Models, you should go meet with them. So I went and met with them. They helped me break my contract with my old agent, and I worked continuously.
Wow, they're keeping you busy.
Yeah, I started working full-time as soon as I got with them. So it was just like different markets because the agency I was with before was a little more focused on high fashion, whereas I am much more lifestyle kind of.
Yeah, I noticed the pictures, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And the agency I'm with now, they're very lifestyle. They do a bunch of those clients that are like that. So I've been with them, and then as far, like, I have an amazing manager now. His name's Glenn Rigberg. He is the best.
Hashtag Glenn.
Hashtag we love Glenn Rigberg so
much. Hashtag Glenn. You better tell people about the podcast.
Exactly. No, he's so wonderful. So I had a different manager that I did a short film and met a guy on set, and he was like, hey, my manager's actually looking for a girl in your age range because she doesn't have anyone. Like, do you want to send him your tapes? So I did. I was with that guy. I got like a couple auditions, but not really enough because we were both just kind of starting out in what we were doing.
I have a question for you real quick.
Go ahead.
We had an actress last week, Kendra Waldman. You guys listen to the show. She's an actress and a writer. We were talking about the Me Too movement, the hashtag Me Too movement, and the Time's Up. Have you, in your short time in the career in Los Angeles, have you ever experienced what she experienced in terms of getting on being a victim of the quote-unquote casting couch?
In the modeling world, yes. In the acting world, no.
Interesting.
So in the modeling world, it was different for me because I was working a lot of freelance, so I didn't have agents protecting me or things like that. But also, I am a very ballsy female. Like, you're not going to try to pressure me because that has happened. And where I was in a situation where I felt uncomfortable and I felt so much guilt about just letting myself even feel uncomfortable that I was like, I'm not doing this ever again. So I make it very clear, like, I recognize what you just said to me and I will publicly embarrass you or you can get it together. Like, those are your two options.
Get it.
And, like, I'm not going to deal with you either way.
Good for you.
And, like,
and are you scared, though,
no,
because you're going to lose the job?
No, I don't
lose that opportunity.
No, because that's not an opportunity that I want.
Good for you.
Because in the modeling world, it's not like in film where I totally see it because I'm younger and like I really want to be doing this. So if I hadn't been in those other situations, I can understand how somebody being like, just come have drinks with me. We'll talk about it. Like, we'll figure it out. I mean, I'm married, so I can totally say that I would not sleep with anyone because that's not tempting to me because nothing is more important to me than Chaz. But I can definitely see how there could be boundaries that are easily crossed because you want something out of the transaction. You know what I mean? And not that they're not being taken advantage of because they absolutely 100% are. But I understand the feeling of, you don't understand, I won't be happy doing anything else. Like, this is the only career that I could ever be happy in. Like, that's what I need, you know?
Good for you.
So I understand.
You're keeping it real.
Yeah.
You got to keep it real. And so you are setting an example for other actresses and actors out there.
Well,
Let's be honest.
Yeah, totally. Well, I feel like it's weird. Not weird. It would be dishonest of me to be like, I can't see how any situation like that would tempt me. Because if you have, I don't want to use any names in any of these situations, but if you had someone...
Please don't. I don't have any money to be paid.
Right. If you have someone massive coming up to you with an opportunity and they're like, look, just come get a couple drinks with me, just be my date to this party, whatever. Even if, like, because you can tell when someone's intentions are not honorable.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can definitely see how it'd be like, it's just drinks. Like, nothing's going to happen. Like, it's totally fine. And then you find yourself wrapped up in this world. Like, I can see the progression.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I can see it because I have the desire for the end result.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but luckily in the acting world, I haven't faced any of that. And now I have the best manager in the world who would never let anything like that happen to me. But in the modeling world, it's going back to the reason I am not afraid to say anything in those situations is because it just puts you in the same situation over and over and over again. Because when you're shooting,
that's right.
Like when you're a model, a lot of the time it's you and the photographer when you're actually working. So if this photographer is creepy to me, I don't care how much money I'm making off of it because I'm just going to be cast again next week to come back and do the same thing.
True.
And like, that's not what you want. And also, like, me shooting with people, I know girls who have shot with photographers because they felt comfortable shooting with them knowing that I shot with them. Like, things like that.
Because you made it already a precedent to say, we're not going to have any bullshit on this set.
Yes, exactly.
So they know if Haley was there,
right,
they're good to go. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, of course.
Thank you for doing that.
Up,
Well, you're standing up for them.
I'm
Absolutely.
a 25-year-old married woman, and I shoot with a lot of 17, 18, 19-year-old girls. And, like, and even the 25-year-old girls that I shoot with, being from a small town and, like, going to college and having world experiences and being married and all of these things, like, I'm in a more adult mindset. Just I live in a different headspace than a lot of the people, and I do feel a responsibility because I think it's because I feel like I have so many friends who have children that I recognize that I'm at the age where, like, I do have a mothering instinct, and I put that on a lot of the young girls that I'm around.
Good for you.
Because I don't know, girls are just so vulnerable, and I get the desire to want to be a supermodel or want to be a famous actress and whatever, and I get that anyone can talk you into anything.
Well, you know what? It's so... You're leading to all my questions. Good for you.
Good.
You're so amazing. Thank you. Rick, did you have anything to say real quick about that?
I just, recognizing the vulnerability, it's just like not movies and modeling, it's now bleeding out into, well, it's been there for years, into the music industry. So we're now seeing a Me Too, rightfully so, come out and I won't name any names, but there are plenty of male artists that are under scrutiny right now.
That's right.
I
know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I have a couple friends that do a little bit in music, and comparatively, like, what I've talked to with my actor friends, my model friends, and my friends who are involved in music, they all have the same story, where it's just a couple of us here and there, because I feel like women really are not valued in music at all. Like, even women who are like bosses and like run their own stuff, they're still primarily managed by men, and
they don't get the same pay
no
either.
Not at all. And in music, a lot of times you start young in everything, but when you're a young model, you're living in a model house with probably at least one female agent. There's like 16 little girls with you. When you're a musician, you're like a 14, 15-year-old walking into a room full of men with your little guitar, you know what I mean? And you're alone in that situation. And I feel like that there needs to be more of a light put on that, because I feel like there's a lot more involved with all that than the general public realizes.
So my question I was leading up to, because you obviously now are influencing young women to be protected, to be safe. You are also a social influencer, Haley. You have 68,000 people following you on Instagram, quite a few on Facebook. Are you on Twitter as well?
Yeah, but Twitter is just for me being stupid.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
use it for anything.
All right, and
For
so
a lot of people being stupid.
Right. Yeah, true.
Instagram is basically now the main social influencer website where people, you can show your musical talents, your modeling talents, your acting talents.
Yeah.
Obviously, my podcast. Rick, you just because you like to go on vacation, you travel with your boyfriend. Like, everybody uses Instagram totally different. But I've noticed in the last few years, since Instagram is getting more popular than Facebook, because Facebook is now considered the grandparents or the parent site. You know?
It's for old
I'm
people.
Easy. I'm on Facebook.
I have a Facebook.
You sure do.
I sure do.
But we use Instagram more.
Totally.
Hashtag Instagram. Are you listening? We love you to sponsor the show.
Hashtag we're sponsored by Instagram.
Yeah. Hashtag sponsored by Instagram. You are a social influencer. I remember again meeting you 2 or 3 years ago when you said, "Oh, I only have 1,000 or so and so." You have now 68,000 people, and your audience is growing. What does being a social influencer mean to you?
Honestly, I've been thinking about that a lot recently because I was always very, very quick to be like, I don't care about Instagram. Because, like, I didn't want to give it any power because it is such a weird medium because you can just show whatever you want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, not everything.
Not everything.
There's a few
no
things that
nipples.
they'll block you off. That.
Right.
I found out.
Hashtag no nipples.
But, like,
Just kidding.
But, like, really. But, well, you could show yours. I
You
just
can show-
couldn't
yeah.
show mine. Right.
Interesting hypocrisy there.
I just
Yeah, 'cause
think,
it-
like,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like as a whole, social media can be really, really unhealthy, especially for young girls, because you're looking at these people who are living these seamlessly, like, perfect lives and all of this stuff, and, like, constantly in Bali with, like, fruit trays and, like, perfect tans and, like, really tight butts and, like, things like that. And that's just not real life.
Right.
But I also think it really is a platform that you can use to kind of say whatever you want, which is a little scary. And that's why I'm trying to be really conscious of my sponsored posts these days and stuff. Like, I don't do posts that I haven't tested the product or that I actually use the product.
God,
or
you're so leading on to my questions. Like, here, you're reading my mind, Haley. What's going on here? The number of followers you have now, did it help you to get a PR or an agent or a manager to get that exposure?
Yes, because, okay, so, you know how everything in life, one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And, like, you can trace a couple things back to, like, wow, that seemingly really small moment changed this big thing. So the whole reason that I even got the first short film that I ever did was because me and the guy who directed it were connected through a mutual friend on Instagram. So I got that, which led to me getting my first agent, which led to him dropping me because he moved, and which led to, like, a rock bottom feeling for me. But I, through that, found my new agent in, like, Cloud9. So, and I've been approached for a couple projects off Instagram and things like that. But I know when I went and met with my agent with my manager that I currently have, one of the big draws to me was that I don't need acting financially. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need that to make money to live. I need it because my soul needs it, but not because I need the paycheck of it, which does come a lot from Instagram, because I will book jobs off Instagram, sponsor posts, which pay the bills and things like that, all on top of.
What does a sponsored post mean?
Where a company will send me, like, I'm doing this sponsor post for, like, these lip colors for Revlon. And so they will reach out to me with an agreement, and we'll figure out the price and things like that, and we'll both sign the contract.
Are you doing that, or your agent's doing that?
I do that.
You're doing that yourself directly.
Yeah.
Revlon goes to you and says, "Hi, Haley, we want you to sponsor our new lip line." They're not going through your agent.
No,
for
girl,
that?
I'm shameless about it. I will hit companies up. Like,
Good
I do not
for
care.
you.
I always say I will be the reason that people stop using influencers, because I will run Instagram into the ground.
Work, because you need to give me some tips.
Yeah.
Trust.
Well, like, literally, I can just send you my email template.
Okay.
Like,
oh, I'm gonna totally copy that.
totally. I mean, because, like, I just say, hey, I'm Haley Gautier, but I do only reach out to companies that I use, or I know that they fit
And
my
me too.
aesthetic.
I'm gonna go to the restaurant and say, we saw the other night Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory. Great show at Panties. And I've established this relationship with the chef at APL, which is around the corner from it. Fabulous restaurant, by the way. Hashtag APL, hashtag Adam Perry Ling. Are you listening?
Yeah.
Thanks for being on the show and being he's going to be actually my podcast guest in a few
Nice.
months.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
he's amazing.
fun.
He's opening a new restaurant in Napa Valley.
Oh.
Ooh.
But his restaurant's here in Hollywood. Fabulous restaurant. But I went to him because I love his product.
Right.
I'm not going to go to ABC Dixie Cup or whatever, and not have Dixie Cups
Right.
cups, and I'm like, I don't, whatever.
Totally.
I want to actually promote a company that I literally use because
Yeah.
I have to have my authenticity
Totally.
exposed.
And I honestly think that's why, and I don't think I'm like some major influencer or anything like that, but I have bigger companies that will reach out to me directly, or that we will like have a little correspondence about doing a post on my page, because my entire aesthetic is normal girl.
Yes,
like,
and it is.
like real.
You are girl next door.
Yeah, like real person. Like I'm not like, yeah, I'll post about being in Europe if I'm in Europe.
Absolutely.
But like I know people, and it's totally fine. You keep up your Instagram aesthetic, whatever. You have your brand, and that's great. But like they'll go to Europe for 3 weeks and take 70 photos and post it for the next 70 days like they moved there. And like literally present this whole thing. And mine is like, yo, what's up? Here's me with some ramen. Yo, what's up? Here's me like with my pet squirrel that I have in my front yard.
Yesterday, your post was like you're eating ramen and said you didn't have a great day, but you still look cute. Oh my God, this picture looked
I was
flawless.
like, I had a bad day. Here's me with some noodles.
Yeah,
like because not every
That's every day.
You know what I mean? But like
Some
really
noodles,
though,
yeah.
because not every day is this cute selfie of me. And I feel like Instagram stories is a really good place for that too.
Yes, it
like
is.
for your real self
Yes,
to
it is.
show.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like being authentic on Instagram is really what keeps people entertained and like engaged, because there are bloggers that I follow and they have like their presets and it's beautiful. Their feed looks gorgeous.
Which I need to work on myself, my own blog too.
Me too. I
Yeah.
need to work on it all the time. But that's so nice, and I look at that for like inspiration of, oh, that pose was cute. Oh my gosh, it looked cute when she was sitting on steps to do a photo of shoes. Like who knew? That kind of thing. But for me, I always just want to market myself as like, I am just a normal person. And I think that's because I don't want to be an influencer. I want to be an actor who has Instagram. You know what I mean? So I want to seem like a real person. That's why I very rarely will label myself as like an Instagram influencer or even as a model. I just want to be like an actor who also does this. And that's why I can't like do the whole beautiful feed color scheme kind of thing, because I don't have the energy or the desire to be having 2 different like full-time jobs like that. But also I want it to all really fit into my real life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, we're gonna come into more authenticity in a moment. More with Rick and Haley on today's episode. I am so excited to introduce this brand new sponsor, Michelle Castillo. She's a friend of mine, but she's also an estate planning attorney, and her practice focuses on helping families for the future. Her areas of practice is estate planning, trusts, wills, healthcare directives, power of attorneys, guardianship nominations, trust administration, probate, and asset protection. She has over 15 years experience in the real estate, mortgage, and insurance industry, and she's a good friend of mine. Contact Michelle Castillo today. She's also bilingual in English and Spanish. Her phone number is 818-384-2686. Once again, 818-384-2686. And her website is michellecastillolaw.com. Tell her Queen ShanShan sent ya. Hunty! So you guys saw the Fire Festival on Netflix or Hulu, right? Okay. Amazing documentary about this big music festival that was supposed to happen 2 years ago in the Bahamas. And it was founded by Billy McFarland and Ja Rule. And per the documentary, they spent millions and millions of dollars promoting this event that never happened. The promotional videos showed gorgeous Instagram models parading around beaches, having parties, having cocktails, gorgeous, delicious food. But when people actually paid and flew to the Bahamas, it was a whole different scene. It was disaster. Collapsing tents, soaked mattresses, no festival. The event had been prompted on Instagram to be this, by famous influencers such as Kylie Jenner, Bella Hadid, Hailey Baldwin, who's now Hailey Bieber. And these influencers were paid millions and millions of dollars. Like one post that Kylie Jenner did to promote the event paid her $250,000.
Yeah.
Like sick money. Just to say we're going to the Fire Festival or whatever. She was promoting something, a derivative from Kanye's music group. and apparently that was a lie, that he wasn't actually going to be there. And she has over 102 million followers. It's just ridiculous. So we were talking about authenticity, Haley, and Rick definitely chime into this too, because first of all, the documentary was just like, I saw it 3 times because I just could not believe the content. By the way, Billy McFarland is now serving a 6-year jail sentence because it was mail fraud, it was fraudulent, and it's amazing that Ja Rule's not did
Ja
step
Rule
one.
kind of got out of the whole.
I don't know how he didn't go to jail.
I just start with imagine trusting Ja Rule. You know what I mean? I can't move past that.
He's a businessman. Beyond that, he's a businessman, and he coerced, I guess, some kind of attorneys or some kind of system to not get any type of trouble. But Billy McFarland, when you watch the thing, he
was
really
a mastermind.
he was a mastermind.
Yeah, totally.
He was the beginning of all of this and stuff. And so I'm glad he's serving some kind of jail time because he did defraud a lot of people. But
and this wasn't his first thing.
No, it wasn't. No,
he
it
had
wasn't.
that.
He was the MasterCard.
Yeah,
not MasterCard,
credit,
but
off-brand.
Some
MasterCard.
kind of off-brand entertainment card that also got you to events. Yeah. But the point is that this guy was very young. He was a little bit of a marketing genius, but he also was
a
greedy,
shyster,
and he was a shyster, and he was a con artist. These models are being sued as well. Kylie's in a big, huge lawsuit. All these other influencers in a big lawsuit the last 2 years. We're talking about authenticity, Haley. When a brand comes to you and says, I want you to market this, you said that you just don't go and jump at the opportunity to market that brand. How do you differentiate this is legit? Because on my podcast right now, I'm getting really interesting people calling me up right now. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know if this is legit. I'm scared. How do you differentiate from the fake to the real?
Well, let me just say that yes, it is horrible what happened and all those people got frauded or all that stuff and their money and whatever. But if I was an Instagram influencer at that level and they sent me an email, or they're not dealing with them directly, they sent someone on their team an email and their team sends in this email and says, hey, promote this festival. It looks great. They're paying you this much money. Sign me up. Because those girls are not getting emails sent to their personal email like I am, and their email's not connected to their Instagram like mine is. Someone's going through someone at a much higher level to get to them. Yeah. And so which is their agent or their manager? It would probably be their social media PR person or something like that. But they had, if it was me, I would have no reason not to trust that person. And I highly, highly doubt that they were like, hey, this is all a big scam. Let's do this. Because why would you, if my manager today sent me an email and was like, hey, they want to pay you a lot. They're promoting this brand new thing they've never done before, so you have nothing to go off of, no reference. That's true. And you're like, oh my God, I love festivals. This sounds super great. And Kendall Jenner, she was like, I'm known for going to festivals. She made Coachella, or she helped make Coachella this huge thing. And it's a paycheck. It's a paycheck. You know what I mean? So she was probably obviously blindsided too. Totally. And unfortunately now she's caught into the rift.
Right. Well, not unfortunately. You can play the innocent card to a point. Okay. Yes. If you're a social influencer, this is a capitalistic society. If you're going to make the money, you got to pay the consequences too.
Agreed with that.
So innocence goes only too far, and then you become part of what you put in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, it's I do totally agree with what you're saying. It's just me personally, if that was, but like you said too, with Kanye being involved and things like that, or might have not been involved. Oh, right, exactly. But at some point, they had to have been before they knew what was going on before the people got there, because they knew whether or not they were getting on that flight. That's true. That is where their responsibility comes in.
Yeah, they were never planning to be there, I think.
Right, which is where they're
all these musical guests that they booked.
It was done all before 2 weeks or 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
At the point
less than a month to plan.
As soon as somebody realized that this might not go down the way we portrayed it, then it becomes their responsibility. Yeah.
And they did nothing. In fact, still said until the court told them that they could be responsible.
Right.
They were saying, no, this is not my fault.
Yeah.
I just went to the beach and took
But pictures. I also just from my perspective, I get the you want to cover your ass thing, because they were very much not aware, I would assume in the very beginning, not aware of what's going on.
I agree with that.
And you're like, oh my God, it's not like the Pepsi thing where there should have been some perspective. You know what I mean? It's not like she wasn't handed an outline or things like that. It's not like she knew it could go wrong.
Yeah.
Like there should have been a different meeting about that, but about this.
Well, I want to take it back actually a couple of years, or was it a year ago or 2 years ago when, sorry, Kylie, we're talking about, or sorry, yes, is it Kylie Jenner?
Kendall is the
Kendall
model.
Jenner. Sorry, Kendall. We're going to take it back to the Pepsi commercial. Now, she knew the script of the Pepsi commercial. This was a Super Bowl commercial, I think. And if you guys remember the Pepsi commercial, it was her dancing around. She's the only white girl dancing around. And it was her making a social conscious effort. Instead of being a model, that day she saw a protest coming about. You got a bunch of black and brown people. Now, I didn't take offense to this commercial. I thought it was kind of cool. She was showing about being a model, then all of a sudden she sees a protest coming out. She takes off her makeup, she puts her jeans on.
Did you really
and
think
she
it was
wants
cool,
to,
though?
I don't think it was cool, but I didn't lose sleep over it, Rick, like most people did. They lost their shit over
Yeah.
this commercial.
Yeah,
I'm like,
going that
okay,
far, but it
I would have
was
written,
a
but she
poor
knew
commercial,
the script. She knew the manager knew the script,
Yeah.
the PR knew the script, and they said this is how it's going to play out, this commercial. And people lost their minds. I didn't lose my mind, but I saw why people did get pissed about it.
I don't
Kendall
think it was
still
just
could have
white
made a
people that
conscious
got pissed
effort.
about it. I think it was just, everybody that was
It was
a
with the whole Black
marginalized
Lives
community.
Matter. It was a whole with the
It
other,
kind of was
you know.
it was a capitalistic approach to kind of showcasing some of the things that are going on, and it really took the passion away from these movements.
That's why people were pissed.
Yeah, and I think your point again is she knew, but at the same time, and we're going to talk about a couple of young females today with Coachella that are performing at Coachella. She knew, but we're talking, and I'm not saying an excuse here, but we're talking about young individuals that have, we also, are seeing some of the aftermaths of the whole Michael Jackson thing, and we won't go there. I know you don't want to go there. But when you put these kids in situations, how much is she's a billionaire? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Kylie is the billionaire in the makeup. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Kendall is the model too.
Well,
Yeah.
still, she's multimillionaire.
Yeah, they're
and you
all
put them
rich.
around that
They're all
type of
rich.
money, and they're gonna keep going, and there is consequences. But at the same time, you got to look back and say, who's driving them?
Agreed.
To this,
Completely
So,
agreed. Like,
yeah.
I remember seeing that. Okay, so for instance, I shoot, like, a little off topic, but in the same world, I'll shoot e-com, which is where you shoot for their website, and you're trying on 60 or like shooting 60 outfits in an hour or whatever it is. And so they have these things about, I don't know if this is it exactly. Something like someone was wearing like an H&M, like a little boy was wearing an H&M shirt with like a monkey on it.
Oh yeah, that was controversial. That was a few months ago.
Totally. And
Little
like,
monkey. It
right.
was called
And
Little
of
Monkey,
course,
something like that, yeah.
someone needs to see that and realize that that's not okay.
Right.
But I would not put that on. If that was me and I was wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt, I'd like maybe like Black Lives do matter, but maybe I'm not. Maybe there's a
You're
better,
not the spokesperson for Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
But you could be, but it's all about how you are presented.
Well, Black Lives
maybe.
Matter, maybe that's not the right thing because I should be the spokesperson for that.
Okay, work.
You know what I mean? But like,
Work,
as a white
Haley.
person, I should be. You know what I mean? Like, I should be the first one telling you that that's a thing.
Thank you.
But
Preach.
maybe something like, I don't know, something that, or like white privilege is, I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but something that it wouldn't be appropriate for me. Like maybe, I love curvy girls. Maybe something like that. Something that I believe, but I'm not a representation of
I
that.
understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a skinny white girl saying, I love curvy
Or
girls.
like curves are men love, whatever it is. Something like that. So if I'm trying on 60
I see what you're
things in a
saying.
day,
I see what you're saying.
I'm not even looking at what I
see
put
what
on.
you're saying.
So when you're the lead of a commercial too, you get the script, yes, but the script would say, Kendall takes off wig, Kendall walks outside, Kendall hands cop Pepsi. And that's all. That's it.
all that she gets.
So right, and I get that she's an adult and whatever, but like she has a team of people around her, and because she is the celebrity in that situation, she gets the brunt of the like, you should have done this, you should have done this, and I don't think the majority of that lies on her. You know what I mean?
She's got a million people working for her.
Yeah, like
she still has to make the she still has to sign the dotted line now.
Totally, and she needs to apologize and all of that stuff. But I think that people need to realize that people in the entertainment industry don't have as much control over what they're doing as the general public thinks.
As they perceive.
Yeah.
But then, and here's an idea: corporate America, just give money to these organizations and stop trying to make money off these organizations. Pepsi does not have to make money off the Black Lives. Give a donation to them.
Preach,
do something outside of the thing. So that's the one thing that I think is always going to be a bad idea. Is everybody's going to look at it and go, hey, you know what? You're making money off this. Do you really believe?
Then put that $25 million advertising fee.
Give it to the movement.
Yeah. Give it to the Me Too. Give it to a justifiable cause that's really going to help instead of just talking about it. Show your ass.
Totally.
Show your ass and make sure that you are really promoting something that you really believe in. So you're making an example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Haley, you are working at the Coachella Festival as a social influencer, right?
Yes.
Rick, you're going to be there partying
I'm
up,
just
listening
social.
up. You're just
my
social.
God,
I'm
we'll
just
have to meet
social.
up.
Well, weekend too. I'm always weekend too.
Oh my God, you're a real music fan.
I know.
Then.
Exactly.
That's when like the real music people go.
Exactly.
So you're weekend two, and you're going to.
I used to go to weekend one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working the festival. Can we ask what brand you're representing?
Yeah, so technically you're not allowed to shoot in the festival or work. Like, you're not allowed to shoot branded content in Coachella.
Really?
Supposedly that's how it's been, and I didn't know any of that, and I don't think a lot of people did, but this year it was kind of a big thing, like...
All those people, all the MAC Cosmetics and makeup people I see, they're always at Coachella.
Yes. I just think, like, so last year I went and I was being paid to post photos in outfits, and the photos that I took had to be inside the venue of Coachella. And I think now they're wanting you to have like a permit or something like that. I don't know how they would crack down on that, but I think that's like the thing. And every year that I've been so far, I've shot with photographers who had their professional camera gear in Coachella, and I don't think they're allowing that this year.
Uh-oh.
That may not be true, but that's what I've seen on emails.
So how are you working the event?
iPhone photos.
Oh, just iPhone. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
great. Okay, good. But can you tell us who you're working for?
So, yes, I'm working with Redken and NYX again this year, and then I'm also working at a post, or I'm...
Redken, the skincare?
Redken, the hair care.
Oh, the hair care, and then, NYX Cosmetics.
Yeah.
Great.
And I'm working at a post with Aldo Shoes, like one of their sub-brands, something like that.
Okay, so hashtag all those people when we post. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
We
Get that
need
spontan.
sponsorships here. Are you guys listening? NYX Cosmetics, we want you. Rick, you're going to the festival. Well, actually, when is the festival?
The festival, there's 2 weekends.
Okay.
So the first weekend is coming up. It's the 12th. Yeah. We have them here, and then I'm going the next weekend.
You're going the next weekend.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, you are a big music buff. I love music, Haley. Who are you guys looking forward to seeing or hearing? You're going to be weekend 1, Haley. We're going weekend 2. Who are you guys looking forward to hear, discover? Tell us about the
Yeah, I'm
the
so
lineup.
excited. I actually, everybody, you get every year you get the downers in any festival, because I don't think a festival can really capture what everybody's looking for.
What do you mean the downers?
The downers that go back and say, hey, this is the worst festival ever. This is not worth it. And, the prices are going up, so I can see some, individuals that just really don't want to pay that. But there's always something for somebody. And this year I'm excited because there's a lot of R&B and hip hop.
Yes.
Where I'm not the trance person, I'm not the electronic kind of individual, which Coachella is known for.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll jump in every once in a while. I love my alternative individuals, bands and stuff, and also rock and roll, which Coachella is not known for anymore. It used to be, and it's kind of weaned out. But we do see a huge, and we're going to talk about it, a huge flavor in the midline and the lower line in R&B and hip hop that are just really exciting to me.
That's awesome. Who are the artists you guys are, like, particular artists you guys are looking forward to seeing?
Well, I kind of put some people down, but if everybody's going to see Janelle, obviously,
Love
too,
her.
I want them
Janelle
to
Monáe.
Yep, you saw and you talked about
Love her.
This young woman, H-E-R, H.E.R. Her on the Grammys. Remember, you were blown away.
And she won.
Yes, you were blown away by her.
Yes.
Her name is Gabriella Wilson. Gabriella
she was actually
Wilson.
interviewed on the Breakfast Club a couple days ago. In the
Oh,
podcast. Yeah, talks about how she was starting. Funny you mentioned about being 14, 15 years old, because she was that young when she was
has
discovered.
been performing since she was 10 years old.
Yes.
Oh my
So
And
I
she
was
was
going
talking
to
about being in a
we're
room
going to
with a
talk
bunch
about
of
some
men.
young women here.
Yeah, she actually was. It's so funny you talk about that,
Yeah.
Haley, because she's on the podcast You guys listen to, shout out Breakfast Club, you guys are listening, but I listen to their podcast every day. And she was on the show talking to Charlamagne the God about how she was 14, 15 years old in a bunch of, room with older men. And she was, she was a kid with her guitar and, and she didn't know what she was doing, but thank goodness she was in a safe space and she was able to cultivate her skill.
Yeah, she's been performing since she was 10, or maybe even earlier.
She's amazing.
Heartbreak songs, blues, R&B flavor in there. Having everything related. That's what it stands for.
That's true.
So,
having everything related.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what it's. I thought it meant just. Oh, look at you, Rick, bringing some education to this podcast.
But we're going to talk about a few younger performers, mainly female. Today, one is Billie Eilish, which you probably love.
Love her.
Talk
She's
about social.
Such a freak.
Yeah,
oh my God,
she
I
will
live
bring,
for her.
and her parents,
Oh my God, you have to.
Yeah, she's an LA native, so I think she grew up in
Billie Eilish.
Somewhere inside LA proper too, and her parents were actors and voiceover actors and stuff. But she has a huge social media following. Huge.
She is the social media star that's like kind of transcending boundaries and doing other things. Like she's had a couple songs out in videos and things like that, but she just dropped her first album, which is like all of those things put together. And she's known for being like really unique, and she's like really beautiful but really downplayed. She's super androgynous, like really vibey but like creepy stuff. Like her videos
like
are
gothic.
like very like emo but creative. Like
Okay.
oh, she's so cool. Chaz, my husband, loves her.
No, she's been performing since she was 14. I think her brother does her production or writes the songs. Her dad does the lighting in her concert.
It's a family affair.
Yeah, it's a big family affair, and 15 million Instagram followers.
Oh my goodness, I gotta check her out.
Check her out because she's got some really. I think when people are going to see Ariana Grande, go off to see Billie. But I don't think Billie will have a huge crowd. Too.
Yeah, she's really, really big right this very second too. And I think, or for me, I'm excited to see her because I wonder what she's like on stage.
On stage, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because all of her videos it's like a production style thing, but it's very like, have you seen The Ring, the scary movie?
Of course, it's my favorite scary movie.
They all give me like The Ring vibes. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta check her out for sure.
Well, you're gonna see a lot of Childish because there's a big influencer for her.
Childish Gambino?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe coming out on stage or something with her too.
You mentioned some interesting sets, Rick, about talking about Fortet.
Yeah, Fortet is one guy. He's a producer. He's got like 10 or 12 albums out. It's
called Fortet.
Fortet, yeah. Fortet. And he's a producer. He does a lot of things that you're probably familiar with that are out there. They call him the LA trance, like trance music. Okay. So if you want to...
Electronica.
If he's going to be in the mid-afternoon, now the set times aren't out yet, everybody's just going to flock there and just lay in the grass and stuff. So if you have a chance, and your listeners that really are not getting into nowadays music, listen to Fortet and just, it's really good, relaxing music. It's got a jazz influence to it. He's got, alternative influence to him too, and he produces a lot of stuff out there too.
You mentioned a band called Let's Eat Grandma?
Let's Eat Grandma.
There's a band called Let's Eat Grandma.
Yeah, talk about two young, they're also young performers
what
from
kind of music do they
England.
play?
There's going to be an independent disco pop drive to them.
Okay.
So Let's Eat Grandma started, they thought it was funny. You remember that book, Eats, Shoots, about using commas and using apostrophes the correct way? So Eat, Shoots, Leads. Exactly. Remember? It was all... Anyway, so Let's Eat Grandma and Let's, Eat Grandma are two different things. So that's where
Let's Eat Grandma.
Yeah, and they're so early in the morning. Both of us probably won't see them, and I'm so bummed about this. I'm pretty sure they'll be Friday morning at 11 or 12, and I'll be by the pool.
Hard pass.
But they are the best. If I tell everybody out of any band I talked about today, they listen to them. They're so good. They'll be in probably LA again. They were just here. Yeah, fun dance music. Two girls, and they're the producers behind this. Sophie is one of the big producers that are out there right now. She did their last album. I'm a huge horror fan. the Horrors, and I think one of the gentlemen from the Horrors did, if I'm wrong, did their last album too.
The band's called the Horrors,
The Horrors.
Oh, the Horrors, WHORES.
HORR. I know where your mind going, but you got. I mean, let's eat grandma, bold, tender music. You know, they call it.
I will check out the Horrors anytime.
The Horrors. Goodness, we always have to go there.
Anderson .Paak, his last album,
phenomenal. And a new one coming out.
He has another one coming out already? Yep. This last album is phenomenal, and I love Blood Orange. And you're gonna freaking laugh at this, but I figured out who Blood Orange is, or I found out who Blood Orange was when he had a set on Saturday Night Live and Jimmy Fallon. And I was like, this music is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So they're playing at the on both weekends as well.
Yes,
Anderson .Paak and Blood Orange.
So anybody at Coachella will play both weekends.
I really like Blood Orange.
Austin City Limits, you have different headliners.
Yeah.
But you know,
I love that.
Good album.
I do too.
Good album.
It's so much great.
Check
great
out,
music
you guys,
down there.
those
David
artists.
Joseph, Michael Hines,
Yes.
Blood Orange.
I know.
Yeah, and the thing that I love about, because we're going to talk about, you know, a lot of in the next segment, but Blood and Anderson are really kind of showing the identity of the black movement and black. It's across the board, black LGBTQ with Blood Orange.
Totally, with Blood Orange,
yeah, definitely a flavor in there. And I don't think a lot of the LGBTQ community knows that Blood, in some of the songs, you know, we gravitate to Frank Ocean, which we should, because he's God.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people don't like
get out
him.
Another album, Frank,
I know, he's in hiding.
because they don't understand him. They need to relax and just sit down and listen to him.
Do you think he's in hiding right now? He's just chilling?
I just think he does what he wants to do.
And he has every right to.
Yeah.
Frank Ocean is very, very talented.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of backlash because he's a gay black man, and it's horrible that we're saying that, because he is ultimately his words. He's a poet, and his music is amazing. And the last, what was it, Blonde? What was it movie?
Yeah.
Blonde.
Yep. Well,
last
singles
album.
out after that, but yeah.
I think I listened to that album 10 times when I was in Greece 2 years ago.
And it's interesting we bring in, we are going to have a whole show on this, on LGBTQ or gay men, gay women singing, because I think you're seeing, remember I said the fluidity of music coming together, where there's going to be country and soul
and Americana,
Americana all fused together. What we're also going to see is not LGBTQ music. We're going to see non-binary music, where individuals like Christine and the Queens, that she's playing, and she comes out as I am not gay or straight, I'm non-sexual in that manner.
She doesn't want to be labeled.
Pansexuality. That's what she claims she is, and she is a great artist, and she doesn't need to be identified.
I cannot wait because on Pride Month, which is coming up in June, when I get back from vacation, we're going to have quite a few guests on that month to talk about what we're pansexuality, transgender, cis transgender.
Oh, good.
There
LGBT. Needs to be so much more education.
Maybe I might lose some listeners. Well, fuck you guys if you don't want to listen. But you know what? This podcast has a mission, and we are here again to talk about all sorts of people, all sorts of lifestyles that mid-America. Kendra used the word last week, the flyover states, for a reason. Maybe she wanted to be PC, but those are your middle America people who are now listening to my podcast. I have listeners now in Pakistan. Hello, a Muslim country.
Yeah.
I got listeners in Indonesia, another Muslim filled country that I am shocked they're listening to my podcast, because we are talking about things that they are kind of prohibited to talk about. This is completely off subject, but the whole Brunei country that is now going to stone people who are gay and stone people who commit adultery.
And also abortion.
This is 2019. You're actually going to stone these people. So I don't know your way of feeling about boycotting certain businesses or boycotting certain type of hotels, but the Beverly Hilton is not on my list to stay or have a drink at the Polo Lounge right now.
Right.
They're not on my list.
It's like, we don't really care how you feel. Like, do whatever you want, but you better be boycotting these hotels.
Okay.
That is not
Yes,
right.
You have to stand up for something.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a whole different subject. But June is going to be a lot of this conversation.
And I'm glad you're having that.
Absolutely.
Pitchfork said
What's Pitchfork?
Pitchfork is like an online magazine that goes over all the albums.
Hashtag
and reviews.
Pitchfork. Okay.
Get Pitchfork behind you, even though we roll our eyes sometimes when we read it. But they said about Christine and the Queens, I wrote it down here, queer identity requires constant negotiation.
Interesting.
And I love that quote. And that to me is what I think about music, especially when I hear, oh, that's a queer artist, or, no.
It's an artist.
It's an artist that we can put
Period.
our feelings in. If, a straight person listened to Christine and the
We
Queens.
have to label it all the time?
Yeah. Or Perfume
If you
Genius.
love the music, you love the music. Why do you have to say that it's a gay music or it's LGBT, it's black music? It's music, period. Music transcends all
Well, it
universe,
comes from an area.
in my opinion.
People will say it comes from blues or it comes from
You can say
rhythm
it
and
as that.
blues
I have a
and stuff
question
like that,
as
too.
just an uneducated white person. So I completely understand what you're saying, and that, I mean, it makes total sense, and that is how it should be. But does that not go into the representation matters thing?
What do you mean?
Like, if you don't want to be, like, one of my favorite artists of all time is Hayley Kiyoko. She's like this super
Hayley Kiyoko?
yeah, like ballsy, and she's like, she's kind of like the first real out lesbian pop artist, and like that's what she loves, and she like claims that for herself.
Okay.
So me thinking about her, talking about her, I was under the impression that I recognized, oh my God, that's so great, because like that's the real world. Like, she is a lesbian, she's proud of her sexuality, and she uses that in her music, and like to include her fans, like the LGBTQ plus community, in her like her fan base, and that's who she stands up for. So should I view that more as, well, she's just an artist and that's a part of her life, even if she claims, like, her stance is that I am a strong lesbian woman who's a musician and I'm a pop artist, and like I'm like, she, like, her title is like that she's the first real lesbian pop artist.
If that's what she wants to still claim herself and label herself, then that's her bag. She
Okay.
did that for herself.
Okay.
Instead of the whole community saying, well, that is a lesbian pop artist.
Right.
She's made that claim for herself.
Okay, totally.
But
totally.
if
So it's more like,
Christina and the Queens, you said?
Yeah.
Christina, if she just wants to come out and say, I'm an artist, period, then isn't that what we should respect her as? Because she didn't say that she's non-binary or binary.
okay,
Does that make
totally.
sense?
Yeah, but we can also listen to the music and take away from that music anything that we want to.
Right,
You
like,
can-
I don't have to be
I
a gay
can-
man to love Bloom by Troye Sivan.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
totally got
Yes.
you. Totally,
Yes.
totally. Okay, thank you for educating me on
Yeah.
that.
Well, I
So,
know.
that's-
Everyone
yeah.
calls me a black gay man, so,
Well, you are.
I mean, is there any other, is there
I
a
would
better
say
way to
white
be?
gay
I
man.
can't.
They sure did call me a white gay man. Hey, I like penis, so, it doesn't matter. Anyways, we keep getting off the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of just this festivals, there's all kinds of festivals going on this summer. But there's more than ever that I even noticed. Lollapalooza is happening in Chicago, which is your hometown, Rick, in
Yeah.
August. Hotter than hell, by the way. All those people
It
that
is
eat.
hot there.
It's
it was,
hot in August.
2 years ago it was 55 degrees. So you
Good
never
God.
know. You never
In
know
August?
in Chicago. Yeah.
Okay, so Lollapalooza is happening. The tickets are ranging literally from $500 to $5,000 each.
They have 3 levels of
It's
VIP.
insane. Bonaroo is in Tennessee, which is in June. Tickets are ranging
Talk
from
about hot.
Tennessee. $300 to $900. This is each. These are tickets each. $300 to $100
Yeah.
each. $900.
Plus, you got to add on Coachella. You're paying $1,000 for VIP,
Right.
But you're paying $2,000 to $3,000 for lodging.
Absolutely.
So,
We're going to talk
Yeah.
about that in a
You know.
minute.
And Uber and
Yeah,
food.
yeah.
and
Hello, and we're going to talk about that,
Bike.
about the travel aspect. The Governor's Ball in New York City is in May. Tickets are ranging from $275
Yeah,
each
that's
to
a pretty cheaper
$600.
festival because you can stay.
Woodstock
Yeah.
is Woodstock 50, which is obviously going to be the dated 50 years within the original Woodstock that happened in 1969. In New York, in August, tickets are not on sale yet, but it's going to be insane.
Yeah, I think they have a limited amount of, and I don't know.
I mean,
anything
hopefully,
about it. Yeah,
like, they
because
didn't
it's in
really
a
have
farm.
the best outcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in a farm. So.
Who can, especially as a teenager or 20-some-year-old woman or man, I'm a 46-year-old woman. I can't even afford these outrageous prices. Who can literally afford these prices and go and see your favorite bands like
Go back
Childish
to five.
Gambino and Anderson .Paak? They're in great demand. They're actually on the whole tour for all the music festivals, which is great for them. Travis Scott, Cardi B, Dave Matthews Band. They're my favorites. But I can't afford to go to all these. Who could? Rick, you go to these tours all the time. You go to these festivals all the time. How can you afford this crap?
I mean, obviously you budget for it. I'm in a different space than probably, an 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid is. And I think first of all, everybody should go to a festival once, a big, large festival
agree.
once, because it's not just the music, it's the people that you meet, and not just your friends, the people that are around you having a good time.
I think it's,
meeting people and
so
dancing
fun.
with them.
It's great.
Especially Coachella. Lollapalooza kind of gets broy, but, it's still fun.
Broy? What do you mean broy?
Because it's more alcohol and drinking, so there could be
okay.
fights. I don't think I've ever seen a fight at Coachella.
Okay.
Because it's more mellow and in the desert type
Everybody's
of thing.
on ecstasy.
And everybody's,
Yeah, it's a
on other
very
things.
relaxed.
Very relaxed environment. So you do need to go, but I think what I would recommend right now there are a lot of tiny little festivals out there. There's one in Long Beach happening. There's an electronic festival in Las Vegas. There's little, that's turning into probably,
There's
that's
what's
a
it
big
called?
festival.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
I went to that one last year. I loved it.
Yeah,
It was so chill.
That might be more in the budget. And, luckily we live in Los Angeles where we can see these performers maybe
true.
twice or three times.
That's true.
I made a conscious choice next year to do the Hollywood Bowl. So most of the money that I'm doing in festivals this year is all going to the Hollywood Bowl.
Good for you.
And,
This season or next season, you mean?
Well, this season going, but next season will be more. And each year, if you become a member, buying in.
Oh, so you're going to be a season pass holder.
Yeah, I am already now.
Oh, good for you. So you got
that's
the actual the pool area.
You build yourself up to that. You can get that
Those
actually.
are expensive.
So when it's such, and could have a whole show on this. When the tickets get released to the members, you call up and try to get different areas. And even to the night you go to the festival, if you're a member, or go to the bowl rather, you can actually go up to the ticket counter, trade them in, and buy, and if they're available, and get an upgrade if they have them available. So you kind of move your way down.
Yeah.
But there's people that have been bowl members forever.
This summer I'm
and
definitely
they've
going
got
to hit the bowl. Last year I had a bowl last year a lot. The concerts.
So I guess my
I'm fine
point
with
is
sitting
just
in the grass area or sitting there in the nosebleeds because it's such a great venue.
And you can do that like at the last minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some 10 or 20. I guess my point is, look at your budget and look at what works for you.
Absolutely.
Try to go to a festival that don't get caught up in the whole hula of Coachella and all of that. There are a lot of little festivals that are out there. Try to work, what works for you. Okay. And at the end of the day, do something with music. Music is, obviously the the thing that calms you, and you'll see that at festivals. It's nice to see that.
Well, thanks, you guys. Thanks, Haley. Thanks, Rick, for your
welcome.
input on this. More to come after this. Advanced Business Solutions is a family-owned business located in Inglewood, California. Let me tell you something. They come with over 20 years collectively of professional experience for tax preparation, payroll services, translations, business filings, mobile notary, and accounting services. They have been keeping me on the straight and narrow for over 12 years. I trust Jessica and Marian Asnaya with my money, and so should you. Contact them today at 310-915-9800 or email them at abtaxsolutions@yahoo.com. They can be found on Facebook at Advanced Business Solutions. Tell them Queen ShanShan sent you. So Rick, part of the podcast, we love to talk about travel and maybe, everybody's getting ready for summer travels. Yeah. Part of the music festival influence is traveling to these particular venues. Coachella is 2.5 hours away from LA. Yeah. You got to travel. You got to get your accommodations.
And it's your hotel, houses. Yeah.
So when you go with your guys, with your friends, your family, whatever, mostly your friends, obviously, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys do in terms of preparation to go to Coachella?
So we do a house, and we do a house very close to the grounds, the polo grounds, and generally that's going to be a little bit higher price. But what we do is a group of us get together, and then we stay at the house and we stay around the pool during the day, and then we bike ride to the festival. How
far usually is that? Airbnb it, or
we could walk. Yeah, we can Airbnb and we can walk generally, but we bike.
And everybody
That's
rents
how
bikes.
close we are.
Or you rent bikes?
We rent bikes, so you can rent bikes where they'll drop them off with the locks.
Nice.
Yes.
From the biking company in the area?
Yeah, and then
Sweet.
you just leave them out front when you're leaving, locked up, and they come and pick them up.
At the Coachella place?
No, at the house that you're staying
Oh,
at.
I was like,
yeah.
oh my God. Well, how do they? Because you still have to lock up your own bike and you have to find your own bike and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Emphasis on find your own bike.
Find your own bike, which is thousands and
like
thousands of
1
people
o'clock
biking.
in the morning, you're like all messed up, and you're trying to unlock a bike that's not yours. Yeah, that's maybe happened to friends of mine.
I went to Coachella years ago, so it wasn't that sophisticated. We stayed at a hotel. What was miles and miles away. This is again back before Uber and Lyft was popular.
So you have Uber and Lyft. You have the shuttles that are great. I have friends that stay in Palm Springs, and they go back and forth in shuttles, and you can relax and lay back and fall asleep.
So that's a good 45 minutes to an hour because of traffic.
Yeah, they do a good job they know they have to, and again, you can drive if you want to. I don't recommend it. You have all the campers that have
People
their cars
camp there.
Yeah.
So you can bring a camper, an RV, and you get a spot there as well.
Yep. You should have already probably.
Of course, not now because you better. You people. Speaking of that, you got to buy your wristbands basically a year before the show.
Yeah,
right?
that's the big controversy on it.
But
yeah.
why is that such? I think that's so silly.
Yeah, and I think a lot of
year?
people are waiting now for the sell-offs because really you're not going to get. I mean, Beyonce was a big, but you're not going to get a star.
It was called Coachella.
Yeah.
Coachella.
Yeah. You're not going to get that. You're just, so I think a lot of people are waiting now, and getting them. But, that's the hype. You buy ahead of time and
Right.
Right.
And
you tell everybody you're going to Coachella.
And then you guys just bring your groceries and you go shopping over there.
Yeah, we go shopping and
That's
then
fun.
we're by the pool. The pool, I think, my partner is going for the first time this year. The pool to me is we're all laying around and it's the friends and, we're drinking and we don't go till about 3 or 4.
Oh, good. So you get to sleep in and just chill.
Get to sleep in and
you're
chill
coming back
around
home
the
at
pool.
2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and so Coachella recognized that, and they're doing a lot of. So if you're staying in Palm Springs, they have a lot of, bands playing there. Smaller bands,
Right.
but they're playing in some of the hotels, and so you can focus and have some fun around there, and then go to the festival.
What suggestions do you want to tell our audience in terms of they are going to the Bonaroo? They're going to even
which is
Spain
totally
and
different.
France are now getting these. They're not now. They're getting on the music festival, but they have their own music festival junkets as well. What do you suggest the people to start to do now in terms of preparing for this music?
Well,
festival?
each one of them are different, right? I mean, if you're talking Bonaroo, you're probably camping out,
right?
Unless you get a hotel or a B&B, and that's probably not the Bonaroo experience. So you're definitely bringing bug spray or whatever you can, bug lotion, because you can't bring sprays into the festivals. But which is different than outside lands, which you can stay in San Francisco and go, from there, or Lollapalooza, which I would stay at my house and go every, when I live there too. So it's going to be different, and just plan around, the festival and type. Clothing is always the most important thing at any festival. Wear, something that you're going to be comfortable into the wee hours of the
And you're standing a lot, so good comfortable shoes.
Suntan
lotion.
Sunblock, no sprays.
No, that's right.
Yep, no sprays,
And then
lotion
obviously
only.
the food is provided.
Yeah.
At a higher rate.
Yeah.
Water, drinks, alcohol, because they're not going to let you bring that in.
One thing I always say every year, because I started festivals later on, if you're young and you're listening to this, the one thing I would recommend is don't get all so messed up in the first 2 hours. Don't get messed up at all because you're missing the music. But don't get messed up to where you're being carted off at 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
That's true.
Have a good time. Listen to the music. These are music festivals, and any of the true music individuals, will tell you that some of the best times of their lives have been at some of these festivals. If you're not even listening to the music, why are you even there? Come on. you can party
point.
anywhere.
Good point.
You know, and so,
Especially
and then we
for
do.
3 days. That's a lot of standing and walking.
It's a
around
lot
for
of standing.
3
That's a lot of
days.
sun in a lot of these
sun.
different
That's
areas.
Right.
You
so
know,
pace yourself.
Yeah, and at Coachella, I would always say bring that scarf because you just never know when.
That's right. I always
It's
see
not
you
going to be a
guys
dry
taking,
year.
I always see you guys taking your bandanas.
Yeah.
Because it gets windy, it could get really dirty and dusty.
You could have a windstorm. It's the desert.
Oh my
so,
gosh.
but we have a really wet year. I doubt that will happen this year, but we'll see.
Well, have a good time, Rick.
Yay! Thank
have a good
you.
time with your friends, and thanks for your tips on
As
music
always.
festivals.
Yes.
Cool. Rick, do you know that Madonna's album's coming out, right?
Yeah, like a virgin.
Right? We love Madonna. We always have to have the Madonna Minute. So Madonna put on Instagram an ambiguous indication of what her upcoming album might be on Instagram this week, and it was a giant red X. And it was a compilation of photos that she made with the X, and that's all she did. So, of course, the public is stirring. What does the red X mean?
Yeah.
So 10 is X. X could be also X marks the spot. X is a sign where the pirates would, mark where the treasure is. What do you think that big X?
Ecstasy.
And it's a red X too.
Yeah,
Ecstasy.
red X. I mean, if it's Madonna, it's always going to be probably something religious, something, against the times of what's going on right now. So, I love the social conscious Madonna.
Yeah,
but
me
I don't
too.
know. I mean, and then this week, didn't Ariana Grande tweet out that, bitches, this is going to be the most exciting album. I don't know exactly
You think
what
she's
she
part
said.
of it? Maybe.
I have no idea.
I don't know. We'll see. But that's why this album is so much more anticipated,
Yeah.
I think, than her last few albums, because she's going to have so many influences from Portugal, from Argentina, from obviously the hip hop world.
Yeah.
More probably, I heard it's going to be
She's
more
always
acoustic.
at the pulse of
Yeah, she
what's
is.
going on in music,
She
which is,
reinvents
you know what,
herself.
I think, again, I know it's a Madonna Minute, but Madonna is an icon. She knows exactly what's going on. In all the years,
Yeah, she
you
is.
can have hits and misses. I will just say this. Please, Madonna, don't come to Coachella and mess up with your helicopters and everything in 2 weeks and jumping on Ariana Grande. Because it is, twice it's been a mess. Knowing not to do it. But no,
Really?
she is an icon, and
Yeah, she
she's wonderful.
Well, she'll be on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Madonna. Hey, Broad. Psst. I know you're listening to this episode, so I'm going to thank you for doing that. We are doing another giveaway with Jeffree Star's newest coveted palette, the Blue Blood palette. It's been sold out, and who knows when it will be available. So, I'm giving you a chance to enter the contest. All you need to do is follow me on Instagram at abroadpodcasts and slide into my DMs and send me a message and type Blue Blood. That's it. That's the key word, Blue Blood. Winners will be announced on May 1st. U.S. entries only, please, and thanks for listening to Abroad. Thank you for listening and continuing to subscribe to the podcast. I want to thank Haley Gauthier.
Oh, of course.
Thank you, girl.
Oh, no problem at all. It was super fun.
Thank you. And thank you, Rick Klinger, for being here.
I love being here.
We will have you back because we're going to talk about some books later on in the fall.
Yep.
And Haley, we want to talk about your movie coming up.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
would you mind being another guest
Oh,
host again?
of course. I would love that.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate
Yeah,
you.
no problem.
Please join us next week as our guest host will be Michelle Castillo, attorney at law. Stay tuned for some really good estate planning tips for you and your family. And girl, what would happen if you died? What would happen if you died?
I'm listening to that one.
Please do, Rick. Thank you. What happens to your family if you're dead and you're buried and the worms are starting to eat your body? I know I'm being
Yikes.
grotesque, but let's be honest. Our family is what we work hard for, so we got to protect them. Michelle's gonna talk about that and spill some estate planning and financial.
Some death tea.
I know.
You know what? I also want to say thank you, Danny, for being a great producer. Did you have fun today?
I did, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Somebody has a new job.
All right, Edward may be fired. Get your coat
He's going to be
now.
executive producer now.
This week, we lost a true hip hop and rap community leader, a business community leader, and future entrepreneurs that lost their leader. Nispey Hussle. His name was Ermias Joseph Adjadam, professionally known as Nispey Hussle. Last week, March 31st, Nispey Hussle was shot multiple times in the parking lot of his store, Marathon Clothing, in South LA. At around 3:25 p.m., Hussle was hit 5 times in the torso and once in the head. 2 others were also wounded in the shooting. All 3 victims were transported to a hospital, whereas Hussle was pronounced dead literally almost half an hour later after the shooting. He was only 33 years old. Upon hearing the news, numerous celebrities offered their condolences on social media. Police have identified 20-year-old Eric Holder as a suspect. Investigators believe Holder was known to be a rapper and that the shooting was possibly motivated by a personal matter. Literally, April 2nd, 2 days after that, Holder was apprehended by members of the LAPD. Days leading up to his death, Hussle had reached out to officials. This is how, I don't know Nispey Hussle's music that well. He was prolific, which is interesting. He had a tattoo called Prolific named on his head. But he was prolific in the hip hop rap community. People really looked up to him. I looked up to him because I'm a business entrepreneur myself. I'm a businesswoman. Mm-hmm. I looked up to him because he was a leader in the Black community.
Yeah, he was huge.
He was huge.
Yeah.
He started his store, Marathon. He owned that whole corner of businesses. And he was actually, the day before he was killed, he was scheduled to go to the LAPD police commissioner, Steve Soboroff, and have a meeting about discouraging gang violence in the community. Now, what rapper, hip hop community? This guy was a Crip.
Yeah.
He was an ex-gang member. Mm-hmm. Turned his life around, found music, found his positive outlet, and changed his life. Not only his life, but he wanted to change the people around him. He was a youth. He didn't know his father. Mm-hmm. He was raised by his mother, and it broke my heart.
Yeah,
it really broke my heart. He leaves his fiancee Lauren London, who was an actress, 2 children. What are your thoughts, Rick, about this, and what were your thoughts, Haley, when you heard about this that happened?
Yeah, I mean, shocked. I didn't know as much as obviously, and I learned more by reading, about his life and what he did. And I think, one thing is obviously the Black community knew a lot more than certain parts of the white community did, and that's not a bad thing, because the one good thing that came out of this is that we learned more about what he did. And
both sides are now educated.
Educated, but I focused in on, I guess this young man felt disrespected by him.
Correct.
And his perceived power, or something he said, or something. I know they're still working it out.
Because they perceived to be friends, or they definitely knew each other. Yeah. Because he came up to them talking and then shoots him. So So Nispey knew this guy personally. They had some sort of relationship. And so it might have been a jealousy situation, Rick. It might have been some disrespectful,
or something.
Which is so stupid.
Well, my mind went to the problem that we have in society, and I'm assuming this killer, which is what he is, mm-hmm. is young. Mm-hmm. With young men, white, Black, whatever, and the anger that they have. Mm. Generally for different purposes in certain situations, but that we have a problem, America, with young men killing people. And I know a lot of young men are killing people in the Black community, but our mass murderers are young men, mainly white men.
I'm in so agreement with you right now.
So that's where my mind went immediately when I started thinking about this. And I don't want to take away from the conversation that obviously the good he did and the tragedy behind it. But I went to, what are we going to do about this anger that we have out there with young men. And it's scary, of what if you're a black male, and again, for multiple different reasons, and we can go into different avenues too. I would be scared if I was a black man in certain situations, but we're talking about the anger behind certain people to kill.
Immediately kill without any hesitation.
Immediately kill. Yeah. So we're not talking about the fear, that a black man has to go through, daily, or anybody of color that has to go daily. But then also, where is this white anger coming from these kids that are walking into churches and shooting, people, and walking into festivals and killing people, and but that, that made me pause, and that's where I went immediately when I started reading it. That's my mind, though.
Okay.
I suddenly.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Haley, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, that crossed my mind as well, but I'm a very emotional person, and so I just can't. And I think the actor in me too. I can't let myself think about the mindset of people that would take a life of another person. Like, that's very difficult for me, and so I just don't even get into any of that. But I just think it's so sad because the black community loses positive figures all the time. All the time. And it is just shit on by like thank God that there was coverage of this, and like props to all of these celebrities in the black community, because it's a risk to put something like this out and to speak forward about something that is so public and like polarizing, so good on them for like Viola Davis educated me on her Instagram, you know what I mean? So like props to people like that. But it is just so sad to me that the cycles that happen in all, especially in like the gang like related areas.
Speaking of that, just yesterday or 2 days ago, the Crips and Bloods got together and signed or formed or created a peace treaty.
Yeah.
And said this has got to stop.
Right.
And that was on the news yesterday.
Yeah.
That is historic.
Exactly.
If this young man,
and you want to think like you have to find, and that is like such a positive thing to come from such a negative.
Absolutely.
But like,
I wanted to start crying when I saw that.
Yeah,
I was born in LA. My parents took us out of Inglewood because of the gang-related issues that was growing back in the 70s and the 80s. My parents did not want me and my brother to be raised in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So they took us out. So who knows what I might have been today. My brother might have been today. We might have been dead. We might have been in a gang.
Totally.
My parents might not be married, whatever. It's interesting how life follows you. But I have to give major props to Nispey Hussle, because the name was very apropos. His friend named him Nispey Hussle after the comedy. If you guys, I'm aging myself. Nispey Hussle. And he was a very, very funny comic in the 60s and 70s. But just a fun fact of Nipsey's life. His name is Ermias Joseph Ashram. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. But his father was from Eritrea, which is a suburb or a small country in Africa. It's called the Horn of Africa, which borders Asmara and Sudan and in Ethiopia. And he was a kid who didn't have any direction. Unfortunately, he did some bad things. Like, we've all done some bad things. I don't know if he's, was bad things in terms of killing anybody, but he recognized that he was on the path of destruction. So if there are children listening to this podcast, if there are people who are struggling with their life and they say, well, this is the only thing I got going for me. No. Take heed to what Nispey Hussle did. He had the opportunity to be a rapper, to be hip hop. Not everybody can be a hip hop artist or rapper, but he he made some connections, and he changed his life.
And he brought other people up with him
Absolutely.
too. Like, I feel like it's really
Absolutely.
important to recognize that, yeah, he was like, he's an amazing rapper. I've been listening to his music since he passed, so I could like be a little educated on
you.
the subject. But all of that aside, he, of course, everybody has controversy around them. I've done stupid things, everybody has, and said whatever. But he was somebody who recognized that what he was doing could benefit others and keep others out of the situation that he was in to begin with, and like that was what he was going towards.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to improve his community that gets so little attention.
Well, let's encourage everybody to promote Black businesses, all entrepreneurs, all self-starters, people who want to change the world.
Yeah.
Listen to Nipsey's music. He was actually nominated, which I didn't know. He was nominated for Best Rap Album.
I think last year.
This
yeah.
year,
Was
2018.
it this year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the 61st annual Grammy Awards. We didn't talk about that, Rick. What?
I know.
What the heck? Shame on
half my
us.
people were cut off anyway in the edit room. But I want to, shout out, like he brought it up, activists like Viola Davis, who's a huge activist, and she has not left, and she continues to, support her causes. So go back to your communities.
Yes.
Do what you can for, no matter if it's a Black community, if the Asian community,
Hispanic community, gay
Hispanic
community.
the gay community. Do what you possibly can and don't leave it behind.
Thank you. We want to say rest in power, Nip.